that Jeffrey Sachs. Let's see what he says. He says some things that are very, I would say, very touching, not just to black people, but to all the people, to Americans, as well as who, are influenced for many other leaders and countries out there.
It's interesting. We heard from the minister of DRC. What's wrong with your country? Well, we don't even start by saying the King of Belgium created a slave colony for 30 years. The government of Belgium ran the slave colony for another 40 years. The CIA assassinated your first popular leader, Mr. Lumumba, and then installed another dictatorship for the next 30 years.
All right, so what he's saying is, smiling on her face, and like, yes, we did a good job. We have a really good system. Look how, we're keeping all these slaves, the black people at the bay. We controlling countries. We controlling a whole continent that have people on it. We're taking all the resources and ain't nothing they can do about it. Like, I'm so proud of my black men. That's what she sound like. That's the smile on her face. Like, we did a very, 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 very good job, of our men. And he's saying, like, we already had a system to dictate and control the world. We enslaved these people for many, many, many years. And we now telling these people to get their shit. We're now telling these people to get their stuff together without giving them a backbone to stand on. You can't take everything from somebody and still put a dark cloud over their head and then tell them to figure it out when you're controlling what they do and how they do it. But then let's carry on.
And then Glencore and others now suck out your cobalt without giving you tax income. We don't reflect on that. We say, what's wrong?
See, that's another point thing. Even it's still to this day, they're still taking African resources and they don't want to give nothing back in return. They don't even give them, they give them pennies and a dollar while we're making $5 to a couple pennies from how they're using these people. If we want African people to grow, from my understanding, what he's saying is, if you want African people to grow, but you don't want to help them, leave them alone. Let them move as they will. Let them move as their free will, or basically do some kind of contract with them where they can rebuild themselves, right? Or let them allow to tax. We paying them tax on we using their resources.
With you, why don't you govern properly? And so we have a system, but we need a different system.
Yeah, her smug and her struggle life is showing. Sometimes I know men are very direct, stern, and we understand the art of war and all that stuff, and we have to be very strong to make things happen. But when you see a woman respond, because women look for the survival of it, so they don't care long as they're winning, long as they're on the winning side. I think anybody don't really care on the winning side, but at the same time, men know there's a consequence, there's a sacrifice you have to make. In a woman's point of view, she don't care about the sacrifice. She's just looking at it, well, we just got to survive. And they'd rather be them than me. She's not a good leader.
We cannot turn this over to the private sector. We already did about 100 years ago. Not only to the private sector with the U.S. military behind it. With the defense of these property rights in the minister of Honduras's country, where United Fruit ran the country for a long time. And their attorney was the foreign minister of the United States, Secretary Dulles, and his brother was the head of the CIA. and overthrew the next door neighbor, Mr. Arbenz, to make sure that United Fruit could have its property. So we have a system, but we need a different system. And the different system has to be based on principles of human dignity in the Universal Declaration, principles of sovereignty, principles of economic rights, because these are not nice things to do. In 1948, all the government said that food is a right, social protection is a right, not a nice.
No, what I like about what he just did, he gave you the cons and then he also gave you the pros. The consequence to fix the consequence of fixing those cons. Right? If you want something good out of the bad that you have done, you have to relieve those people of those consequences, as well as giving them a handout to kind of build them back up. But as we all know, why would you want to build somebody back up when you want to constantly use their resources? Or those people might turn against you and make you become hold you to a tier, hold you to your accountability, which you're gonna have to pay for the things that you have done, and they don't want to pay for what they have done. So I'm gonna end it here because it's a few minutes long, but I like the fact that he spelled out the things that was done and the things that are consistently being done to hold and keep these people suffering, right? Versus, you can't say you want peaceful union and a peaceful treaty for everybody, but yet you're one-siding this specific group of people and taking their resources and their food away from them, their power, their structure, everything, and then still say you want this type of unity and peaceful between all nations of people. You can't do that. It's just not a fair deal. Period. All right, and that's it for that one. Just like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Leave a message in the comment. It is what it is. All right, peace out.